All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Jacksonville Jaguars. And why are the Jacksonville Jaguars 0-16? Because they suck. Been around, 1995? Ain't even been to a Super Bowl. You haven't been to a Super Bowl in 30 years. Jacksonville Jaguars suck. Man, they stink. They're so cracked up every time. Man, I love picking on other teams. Especially when your team has been in the toilet for so long. It's nice just to pick on other teams. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, everybody's going to spend time watching replay this once again. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box maybe like 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But plus also, I mean, instead of me rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free. Fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. That's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe you give this video a thumbs up or share this video. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links, right? There's a one on the top is a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. Can't stand change. I just like things worse the way they are. Don't like things being changed, right? I'm one of them, get off my lawn, old-time kind of farts, right? Yeah, to me, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter, and it'll always be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter because it's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then finally, the link on top of it, right, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,300 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in that group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group, right? Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All that stuff said and done out of the way with a real quick shout out to my New York Knickerbockers taking a 2-0 lead over the Indiana Pacers. I must admit I don't follow them as much as I used to. Back, with the Patrick Ewing era, back with Michael, we had Reggie Miller, man, we had some battles with him. Every year we go up against, whenever it seemed like we went up against Michael Jordan in the Bull, we always lost to them. But we had some nice battles back then. Spreewell took us to a final one time. Of course, we got mopped up in the final there, but I think we won the first game and lost the next 4. But, we had some nice battles back then. As I follow basketball a lot more now. Now it's a lot more, more Giants-related stuff. I spend most of my time, obviously, with the Giants and stuff like that and all everything. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't a wee lad, 72, 73. So when they won in 73, I would have been 9 years old. That was the last time they won it. So basically the last 50 years, all right, over 50 years, 51 years. No championships for the New York Knickerbockers. Not good. Not good. So they're not going to. I really doubt it. They're going to get it this year. But hey, they're doing good. Really, really. I just want to give them a quick shout out. They're up 2-0 over the Indiana Pacers. Now, once again, Indiana's a fine team. Long way to go in this series, but man, cool. I mean, they might get to the finals, right? Not the NBA finals, but I don't know if they're going to get past. If they would get to the finals, Celtics really look good, right? But my thing is, right, the way I look at it, because I can't stay in Philadelphia. I got 2 rules, right? Rule number 1, basketball wise, Knicks win the championship. That's rule number 1. If rule number 1 doesn't come to fruition, which it doesn't usually, hasn't in the past 50 years. But rule number 2 would be anybody but the Sixers can win the championship. I don't care if the Celtics won the next 900 trillion championships in a row. Couldn't care less, as long as the Sixers don't. So, and the Sixers are, was it 82, 83? I believe it was the last time they won. When they won, then they won. I think they won in 66, 67, or 67, 68, whatever it was, when they had Wilt Chamberlain there. But yeah, so I mean, it's been a long time for the Sixers, so that's good. And the 2 things I'm really, really proud of, okay, is that, the Flyers, because around here, it's, all the Philadelphia fans, they're tough. If you don't like our team, we'll beat you up. You know what I mean? We'll spit on you, we'll curse you out, and we'll beat you up. That's the Philadelphia way. I mean, if you don't agree with us, you're wrong, and we'll beat you up, and we'll throw stuff at you. And we'll spit on you and we'll call you names while we're beating you up. Yeah, because that's us. We're Philadelphia. Yeah. So the 2 things I'm really, really proud of is with Philadelphia is that obviously it's been over 40 years since their basketball teams won a championship because they don't deserve it. I mean, they're low-life scum. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. Not all. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but a decent amount of them are just, low life, worthless pieces of human trash, and I just can't stand them. You know what I mean? You get a pack of them together, and they're just absolute total trash. So basically, they're cursing themselves. They're making it worse for themselves because they're just scum, and they don't deserve it. And then, of course, then the other one would be the Flyers. Flyers won back-to-back. I think it was 73, 74, and 74 and 75. So it's been almost 50 years since the Flyers won a Stanley Cup. And once again, the fans are just total scum, total trash, absolute total freaking human trash. They don't deserve to win a game. So I don't even think they even made the playoffs this year. Why? Because they're absolutely human trash. So they don't deserve it there. So it's been almost 50 years for the Flyers. So between the Sixers and the Flyers, they got almost 90 years of ineptitude. I freaking love it. Every year when both those teams lose, I absolutely freaking love it. Joel Embiid is a fantastic basketball player, but with his size and all he takes, I don't wish his injuries on anybody, or much less even him. But I just don't like him because, he had something he takes, like, I don't know. I just some like cheap shots and stuff. I'm just don't like him. Don't like him at all. And I said, nobody's happier on the face of the earth than me. I do my happy, happy dance every time the Flyers or the Sixers get knocked out of the playoffs or don't even make the playoffs, right? Because they're absolute scum. Their fans are scum. They're trash. They don't deserve to win anything. So, all right. Anyway, moving on. So a quick shout out. Well, quick shout out. It took me about 3.5 hours to talk about that, but I do apologize. But I seen this. So how young are the Giants? Giants are pretty young, and actually almost by their own. Well, not the Giants, but I mean Shane. I mean bringing in. I don't know. I guess maybe some veteran presence. The one thing is what he's been bringing in. Shane is the veteran presence, right? Is that at least the guys he's bringing in? I'm going to go over this list here because some of the guys he's been bringing in are adding age to the Giants' overall team, but the guys he's bringing in are very like for 1 year or maybe like Illuminor, I think is 29, 2-year deal. So some of these guys he's bringing in, they're like torch holders. They'll be here probably like Manhurts. I mean, I think is he 32, something like that. So I mean, he'll be here this year, and I don't even know if he's even going to make the team. I mean, we got Cager and Stahl and Manhurts and Bellinger and Theo Johnson. We got a bunch of tight ends. I'm saying, and if Waller were to come back, I don't know where the heck Manhurts would even want to play. But they're pretty young. They're pretty young, which is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. You like it where there's a young team, a young nucleus, and all of that, and they're hopefully they can stay together and go years into the future. Every now and then you sprinkle in a little veteran presence here and there and all, but for the most part, they're pretty young. I've seen this here. This is from the Daily News. Actually, now this article here from the Daily News, what it did was it says the new leaders must step up to fill the void of evolving Giants roster entering pivotal 2024 season. Now, this article was talking about was obviously, we lost obviously like Leonard Williams, Xavier McKinney, Saquon Barkley, so some of the guys we lost in free agency, were, leaders. No other way to say it, right? But so in this article, they were talking about, how some of the newer guys coming in, right, have to step up and fill the void. They were talking about Bobby Okereke. It's only his second season here, but he's the guy calling the plays. He's in the center making all the tackles. He's going to step up, but you can see the guys that Shane are bringing in, like high quality, high caliber guys like Bobby Okereke. I mean, holy freaking crap! Every snap on defense last year, guys he's like a model football player. Absolute, well-spoken, takes his job very seriously, does a fantastic job of it. Thankfully, he played he's played all the snaps last year, and somebody that you want in your locker room, somebody you want on the sideline, somebody you want as a presence there, the other guys, the younger guys can look up to and learn from and everything like that, But also, like some of it too is like filling in. They were talking about filling in the voids and all that stuff and everything. And they were talking about maybe possibly Brian Burns as well too. But some of it, as we're talking about, is that they were also bringing in captains. Some of these guys that they're drafting have been captains on their respective in the college days. So. These guys have been captains. Doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be a captain in the pros, maybe or with the Giants, right? But they had been, by their peers in school, they were selected as captains. That's very, very important. You don't get selected as a captain and it's cool, man, that's great. Yeah, well, no, that's big. That's big. That's a badge of honor. You wear that. If you got a C on your chest, that's, you're representing, and so it just goes to show you some of that, obviously Shane is starting to bring in and filter in some of his own guys, high caliber, smart, tough, and dependable, but high caliber, quality human beings, quality player. And as he's starting to maybe trickle in more and more of his guys, quite possibly the dependable part, meaning, not somebody who played 5 years of college ball, but was injured 3 of those years and missed half the season, 3 to, no, there's none of that. And we're bringing in smart, tough, and dependable. So, and the one thing, also is that, this is his third season, right? Draft season, right? Now let's see, if you're sprinkling in, you got a 53-man roster, right? You're bringing in 6, this just one season here, right? So, because At a 6, I mean, was that 1/9 of the roster? So every year you're bringing in some 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever draft picks. I mean, as the years go by, you got 6 draft picks this season, 7 last season, maybe 6 or 7 the year before. As the years go by, then it starts adding up. But it's hard to change everything all in one season, especially when you only have 6 draft picks, right? But he's bringing in high caliber, quality players. The thing is that, some of them, right, although he's bringing in high caliber players, quality players and all and everything, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get a huge role in on the team. Some of them may not even doesn't necessarily going to even make the team, If worse comes to worse, if some of the guys maybe like Murasau, right, just saying, 6th round pick. If he doesn't, maybe try to get him on the practice squad. Hopefully he can make it, but we'll have to wait and see. But as you see, I mean, Shane's bringing in obviously dependable guys, but we're young. We're young. So at the bottom of this article, they said, yeah. I mean, they talk about, I was just straight up right here. I mean, Malik Neighbors, 20 years old. I mean, we're talking about, he's going to be 21 this season, right? But right now he's 20. I mean, we're talking about maybe the second coming of Odell Beckham Jr. Something. He's 20. He could literally be on this team for 10 years, and he'll still only be like 30 years old. It's like, think about that. When it's time, well, let's see, when they have to pick up his 5th-year option, right? Because I'd be shocked if they don't, unless, God forbid, he has some bad injury history or something like that. But we don't want to bring that up. But, when they bring up his 5th-year option, he's still only going to be like, 23, 24 years old because they have to pick it up before his 4th season. So actually he might only be 23 when they have to pick up his 5th-year option. And then when they sign him, maybe give him his nice contract extension. He's only like 25 years old. Like they were talking like almost another Xavier McKinney, somebody like that. So, but just in this article, he's pick 6, 20 years old. We got this guy, let's hope, right? Who's going to, add excitement to the number 1 wide receiver, excitement for years to come. And he's 20 years old. Holy God. My goodness. Wow. Love it. Love it. All right. But let's see. The 9 of the Giants' 22 projected starters on offense and defense are under 25 years old as of Monday. So, a little less than half. Well, I don't know what that would be. 45%. I don't know. 43%, 42%, whatever it is. I don't know. Are under 25 years old. Giants' 11 projected starters on both sides of the ball average between 24.7 and 24.8 years old, a number that can swing slightly either way depending on 1 or 2 of the position battles. So you got 11 of the projected starters on both sides of the ball are like not even 25 years old. The Giants had only 8 players as of Monday who were at least 30 years old. And if you get rid of Waller, right, they only have 7 players, right? And then I'm going to go over some of these ages of some of these other guys, and it's like, wow. And there are only 5 players in the offense and defense who are at least 30. Because you figure like Casey Kreider, I think if I remember, was 32. Graham Gano is 37. Who are at least there, and 4 of them are new to the team, and meaning Shane just brought these guys in who are 30, right? Jalen Mills is 30, Aaron Stinney is 30, Jordan Phillips is 31, and Chris Manhurts is 32. So he brought it. We had what? What did I say? If we don't include Waller, we have 7 guys who are 30. We just brought 4 of them in. Yeah. So they said if you get rid of Kreider and Gano, I mean, we have, there's almost like nobody on the team that's 30 years old. Not to mention that Drew Lock, 27, the quarterback who's expected to take a majority of offensive snaps this spring, is also a newcomer to the franchise. He's 27, and we signed him as of right now. He's for 1 year. In fairness, such a dramatic turnover of leadership ultimately could be a welcome opportunity for a 6-11 team to reshape its makeup and change those results. Absolutely. It's also possible, however, that a potential leadership vacuum will threaten the regime's and program's foundation when adversity strikes in the fall. Well, we'll have to wait and see. The one thing is like with that is, I can understand kind of where they're coming from. There's not like a big veteran presence. Things are going bad, and you look toward the veterans, we're 3-12. We're getting blown out by 712 points every game. What do we do? How do we stay focused? I mean, let's look to the leaders, right? So the one thing is that, there's not a lot of seasoned, guys who are 30, 31, 32, 33 years old. Not a lot of those guys. And some of those guys that we do have that are that old, they're not guys you're looking up to, They're like placeholders, like Jordan Phillips. He's only going to be here for like a year. Yeah. Manhurts, he's going to be here for a year. He's 32. He's going to be here for a year. Probably. Right? But the one thing is that you can look like the Giants were young last season as well too, right? And what happened? They kept fighting. Fighting. As the season just was spiraling out of control, losing games, getting blown out in some of the games, they were still fighting. And I said if Graham Gano or if we have a healthy kicker in there, right, it makes the 30-something whatever yard field goal against the Jets, we might possibly wind up winning that game. And now we're 7-10, right? And we got blown out in a bunch of games, and we just kept fighting. So. So some of it is kind of like, you can look at it like, well, we don't have maybe a real lot of veteran presence leadership here. But, I mean, you can also look at quite possibly might have something to do with the coaching, right? Brian Dable and crew and gang, right? I mean, the coaches keep the players focused on what they're supposed to be focused on. And, we were losing. But hey, the final game of the season, what happened? We had nothing. Nothing to play for. The Eagles had a lot to play for. And we just smoked them. Absolutely smoked them. Blew them right out of the water. Eagles, it was 27-10, but, I'll tell you what, that was Giants pride right there, baby. We were 6-11, right? So we were 5-11. Absolutely nothing to play for, right? Everybody could have had their bags packed in the locker room, ready to go. All that. We could have got blown out of the water. It wouldn't have freaking mattered at all. It wouldn't have mattered one bit. Nope. Giants went in there with Giants pride, right? And they kicked some butt, beat up on the Eagles because the Eagles suck and they're trash. So are their fans. Trash. Straight up trash, right? So, I'm not overly concerned that we don't have a ton of veteran leadership presence there, because I think the coaching staff did a pretty good job of keeping the guys focused last season when things were going bad, right? And a lot of guys could have gave up, right? They didn't. They're fighting to the end. So, got to give them a lot of credit. But if you look here, let's see. Let's see. What do we got? One guy, Matthew Adams, the linebacker, is 28. I don't know how much he's going to see. He's on. These guys are on the roster as of right now. And that doesn't mean they're going to be on the roster. They're going to be on the final 53. I'm just looking at some of these guys who are like almost 30 or exceeding 30, and I'm just looking at some of these guys. Matthew Adams may not even be on the final 53 or on the practice squad. Then we got. Let's see here. We got like 27, 26, 23, or 28. Yadni Kajust. He's 28. I mean, he may not. I mean, we got so many guys. Excuse me, offensive linemen. I don't even know if the guy's even going to make the roster, and he's 28. Let's see here, 29. Okay, Jermaine E. Luminor. Fantastic pickup. He's 29. Obviously, he'll be 30. I don't know if he'll be 30 this year or whatever, but we got him for 2 seasons, right? But a very, very, very good pickup. Let's see. But then you got Graham Gano. I mean, I don't even know how many more years he's going to play. Hopefully, he'll come back, and hopefully he'll be okay. But, you don't know. I mean, but this could be his final season with the Giants. You don't know, right? But he's 37. I mean, I said his time, I'm sure, with the Giants is winding down. I'm just trying to find guys who are old. I mean, 25, 22, 25, 26, 23, 26, 33. Casey Cryer. Okay, he's a long snapper, right? I mean, it's not somebody. He's not like your wide receiver number 1. He's not your quarterback. He's not your star running back. He's a long snapper. I mean, you can do that probably when you're 40. So once again, he's a special teamer. He's not an offensive or defensive player. Special teamer. Let's see here. Just 32. Oh, Chris Manhertz. As I said, I mean, he may not even he may not even be on this team at the end of the season. I mean, we have 312 tight ends. He may not even be on the team. I mean, you don't know. If not, he might be on the practice squad. So he's 32. He's one of those guys who are over 30, but he may not even make the final 53. How many tight ends can you have on the roster? Right? Especially if Waller were to come back. Let's see here. 29. Isaiah McKenzie. I mean, quite possibly he might be our kick returner, right? But I mean, we just brought him in. I mean, he ain't going to be here long. 28. Joshua Miles. I mean, he's 28. I mean, don't know how long he's going to be here for. If he even makes the roster, and he's 28. Jalen Mills, we just brought him in. He's 30. Let's see here. Matt Nelson, we just brought him in. He's 28, though, right? I mean, Raheem Nacho Nunez Arochez, he's 30. We got him for 3 years. We got him for 2 more years. I don't know if we can get out after 2 seasons. I'm not exactly sure. But, he just turned 30, right? And I'm sure, somewhere along the line, we're looking for an upgrade at that position. I'd like to get somebody we can put next to Sexy Dexy. Because Nunez Roches is more of a run stopper. You're not getting much out of the passing game with him. Let's see who else we got in there. 24, 31. Jordan Phillips. He's just a torch holder. He might be here this year and gone the next. And once again, he's one of those guys that's over 30, and we just brought him in. Right? 25, 26, 28. Austin, it's either Schlotman or Schlutman, but we just brought him in too. And he's only 28. I'm just trying to look for some guys that are kind of old, are 30. Here we go. Aaron Stinney, we just brought him in. I mean, he could be gone in a year or so, right? 31. Darren Waller, he may not be here anymore. He may not even ever play another snap for the Giants. So the Giants are very, very young. I mean, you really gotta like, the direction of the team. The 2 biggest things, right? Can Brasillo get something with this offensive line? And I think so, just based on his body of work with the Raiders, right? And the Giants have to stay healthy. That's huge, right? But I think if they stay healthy, I think Carmen Brasillo will help be able to sort out some of the mess we got at the offensive line. The other thing is, what are we doing with Daniel Jones? Yeah. What's going to happen there? I mean, that's the biggest question that we have. But I like the direction the Giants are going in, and they're a young team. Young team. Right. I really like that. I like the way Shane's building the roster, right? He takes a lot of pride in those draft picks, bringing in a lot of quality players, right? And smart, tough, and dependable, right? So I certainly like the roster we're going in. I mean, I like Daniel Jones and this, that, and everything, but we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah. All right, next. Next Wednesday, right? You got the that's what it's, I think, 8:00 at night. I think got the schedule release, which is a little late. I should have been I think it should have been like this week. I'm not sure what was going on. Somebody's, I don't know, snoozing at the wheel there or whatever it is, but it's a little late, I think, for the schedule release. But what to look at here, what to do. Now, the nice thing is we got 9 home games, right? We got 8 on the road. The one nice thing, okay, is that when you have the success you had in 2022, and of course you're from New York and all of that stuff, and you want a playoff game and all of that, all that stuff and everything, everybody's going to want to see you, right? So now we look like, horse doo-doo last season, right? Hopefully we won't have, out of our 17 games, hopefully 19 of them won't be in prime time like they were last season, right? I mean, I can't even talk. I mean, what was it? 5 of our first 6 games, whatever the frick it was on prime time. I was like, are you kidding me? But so hopefully, since we played like horse doo-doo last season, quite a bit, right? Hopefully we won't be on prime time, right? I did hear us on Big Blue Kickoff Live, and it does make a lot of sense. You can almost, I didn't hear us on Big Blue Kickoff Live, but you can almost guarantee almost every year, almost guaranteed almost every freaking year, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, somewhere, right? Now, whether it was a Thanksgiving game or whether it be a Monday night game or a Sunday night game, whatever, but you can almost guarantee almost every the Cowboys and the Giants, right, will be on prime time. But what they did bring up to on Big Blue Kickoff Live, which does make some sense, would be the return of Saquon. Dun, 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 dun. Possibly an Eagle-Giant clash, right? And then we're kind of thinking it might be like the MetLife Stadium. Maybe with the return of Saquon to MetLife Stadium, right? So that's a possibility. But I'll tell you what, boy, I hope we let's get those 1:00 games. I remember Bill Parcells liked the 1:00 games. The problem is that when you win Super Bowls and you go into playoffs, and if you're from New York and you got Lawrence Taylor, right? The people want to see him in prime time, right? So, but let's hope that the Giants they don't have too many primetime games. A lot of 1:00 games. I'm good with that. Now the one nice thing is we do have 9 games at home now, so that's good. I said we got the Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders at home, but we got the Saints at home, the Bucks at home, the Ravens at home, the Bengals at home, the Vikings, and the Colts. So there's some winnable games at home, right? We do got a couple tough ones, obviously the Ravens and the Bengals, and the Cowboys and Eagles, but some of those games are winnable. And on the road, obviously got the Eagles, the Cowboys, Commanders, right? But we're going to at Seattle, right? At Atlanta, at Carolina. Then of course, you got the Browns and the Steelers. So, you got to play a Thursday night game, right? That's a given. Probably the Thursday night game might be against one of the oddball teams, quite possibly, right? Then I said, then you probably might have a prime time with the Eagles, maybe one with the Cowboys. So if we only have 3 prime time games, I'm fine with that. I'm good, and hopefully it's not. We're playing 815 games in the first 4 days of the schedule, like we did last. And everything's prime time. It's like, so hopefully. Now, also one thing you look at here is that, let's see, what do we got? One thing I really like, okay, is we got, well, of course, the one game that's far is Seattle. But we got one game that is far away. that's on the opposite side of the country. Okay, we're not playing the AFC West. We're not playing the NFC West, right? So we're not flying to San Francisco, coming home, playing someplace, flying back out to Seattle, playing somebody else, flying back out to play the Chargers, playing going back out to play the Broncos or something. You know what I mean? We only have one game that's against a West Coast team that's out in the West Coast. So other than that, I mean, we got Baltimore, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. A lot of stuff is on one half of the country. So that's pretty good, right? But so that's coming out supposedly next Wednesday. So we'll get to talk a little bit about that next Wednesday, right? Looking forward to that because the schedule will be released. Actually, what happened last year, it got released it was supposed to get released at like 8:00 at night or whatever like that. But of course, it got leaked out. So the Giants, we kind of knew what the Giants, who they were playing. I think it was like early in the afternoon, But I did see this: the Giants. How fast are the new Giants receivers? Pretty fast. According to a little stat here, a little chart here, so we're the fourth fastest. Now, however, fourth fastest, but that's with the projected three starters. And, they're straight on. They're right. I mean, between Neighbors, Hyatt, and Robinson, we're the fourth fastest. Their average speed, I'm not sure if it's pro day time, combine time, I don't know. But Giants average 4.4 in the 40, right? Now, the Chiefs are number one, 4.33. The Falcons are number two. The Chiefs with Brown, Rice, and Worthy are 4.33. The Falcons are number two at 4.35. The Falcons have London, Mooney, and Moore. And, of course, then you got the Dolphins, right? They're number three with Hill, Waddle, and Beckham Jr. And they're 4.36. Now, the Giants are at 4. Well, actually, the Giants are tied with like three teams. It's the Giants and the Seahawks. And I guess maybe the Eagles. The Eagles are 4.4. Yeah, the Eagles are 4.4 as well, too. But the thing is, there's three teams that are tied at 4.4 in the 40s now. But the Giants, between Neighbors, Hyatt, and Robinson, those are the projected three starters, okay? But those are the projected three starters. Now, let's not forget, all right, now, if they expanded that to the top four wide receivers, where would the Giants be? Because, once again, if Slayton plays with the Giants this season, Slayton ran a 4.39. So Slayton would even, so our fourth, if he plays with the Giants, once again this year, right? Our fourth wide receiver would actually make that 4.4, maybe even a little faster. So now if they expanded all those teams, especially in front of us, and made the top four wide receivers on every team and took their times, how fast would everybody be? So the Giants or our top four wide receivers would still be about a 4.4. I don't know if you can say that about everybody, all the other teams. I mean, I didn't try to calculate it at all or anything like that, but I'm just kind of wondering if they did it, if they went to the top four wide receivers on every team, what would their time be? Right. So the Giants would still be a 4.4. You're not losing no loss of speed when you got the fourth guy coming in for the Giants. So now as I said, with these other teams, with the Dolphins being a 4.36, if you added their fourth wide receiver in there, he's probably slower than 4.36, right? So the Dolphins might even be closer to 4.4. They might almost be tied with the Giants, right? Same thing with the Chiefs, right? whoever their fourth wide receiver is, they're going to probably make them slower than 4.33. And the same thing with the Falcons, or 4.35. Put their fourth wide receiver in there. Might jack up their 4.35 times. So the Giants are pretty damn fast. I mean, that's one thing you got to, Shane's bringing, obviously, we got young guys, but he's bringing in fast guys, right? Fast guys who can get separation, fast, quick, smart, tough, dependable, right? So, right, and so we're young, and the fourth fastest receiving group. Very impressive. Very impressive. All right. Okay, so then we got. Then I saw after this here, I saw, whoops. Now this here is going to kind of lead me into the last story, and I'm still really scratching my head about the last story. But anyway, the last story is going to go about, because it's PFF seems to think the Giants got the steal of all time in the third round, Andrew Phillips. Okay. I hope so. Hope you're right. But because quite possibly we got the steal of a lifetime in our third round pick of Andrew Phillips, that could be good for one player on the Giants squad and bad for another player on the Giants squad. So one is Cor'Dale Flott, who was playing in the slot. There we go. Now, Giants third rounder, Cor'Dale Flott, referred to as the biggest loser of the New York Giants offseason. Now, they're going to explain why here. They're going to explain why here. Now, maybe Flott wasn't doing maybe an absolutely horrible job as far as coverage, but let me read this article. Every offseason, NFL franchises' decisions in free agency and the draft send a message to certain players, good or bad, and that was certainly the case with the New York Giants in 2024. For example, 2023 starting nickelback and former third-round pick Cor'Dale Flott was determined to be one of the main losers of the Giants offseason, according to The Athletic's Dane Dugan, a veteran Giants media member. 6'2", 175 pounds. 6'2", 175 pounds. That's a frickin' beanpole. Flott might be the biggest loser with the defensive coordinator change. Might be the reason why. Possibly the reason why they brought in Phillips. Dugan explained, whereas former defensive coordinator Wink Martindale emphasized man coverage at the skills at the corner, nickel back, slot corner position, whatever, right? Man coverage. Shane Bowen prefers sturdy corners who are strong tacklers. Sturdy, bigger, right? Let's see, what are they going to get Phillips at here? Well, okay, well, see, he's 6 foot, well, according to PFF, anyway. Phillips is 6 foot tall, so he's not as tall, but he's 187 pounds. He's bigger. He's smaller, but stockier, shorter, and he weighs more, close to 13 pounds more, at least 13 pounds more. That's not Flott's strength, meaning tackling, run support. The beat writer went on, which is likely why the Giants picked Andrew Phillips in the third round to play the slot corner. Dugan concluded that Phillips' pick should bump Flott out of the starting slot job and into a competition at the outside corner spot opposite of Banks. And that transition might set up a third-year prospect to set up the third-year prospect to fail. Might. Flott struggled on the outside as a rookie, allowing a passer rating of 102.4 when targeted, according to Pro Football Focus. The soon-to-be 23-year-old's run defense and tackling have been the real liability. However, with just 17 key defensive stops compared to 11 missed tackles over his first 2 NFL campaigns. Not good. So, obviously, Flott, you could wind up being on special teams. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed right now. I mean, they got to battle it out. Right? You got a third rounder going up against a third rounder, right? Let the best guy win. But maybe Flott might get kicked outside. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as being kicked outside to the cornerback number 2, Giants' Nick McCloud is in prime position to swipe the starting cornerback job away from Cor'Dale Flott. With Phillips likely taking over the slot, Banks manning the cornerback number 1 role, and a few starting candidates at safety, there's only one first-team position left in the secondary for a player like Flott, and he'll have plenty of competition for it. Dugan's sleeper pick appears to be journeyman staff favorite Nick McCloud, and he didn't do too bad last season. Not too shabby. Surprisingly, the Giants haven't added any notable outside cornerbacks this offseason, especially with Adoree Jackson and the 792 snaps he played last season departing. Dugan stated while calling McCloud one of his 5 New York Giants winners of the 2024 offseason. McCloud is in prime position to claim Jackson's starting spot as returning to the Giants as a restricted free agent. The Big Blue reporter argued, reasoning McCloud has parallels to former Giant Julian Love as an effective super sub early in his career. The Giants will hope McCloud seizes a starting opportunity the way Love did in 2022. Along with Flott, McCloud's competition at cornerback 2 includes veteran signing David Long, Jr., 2023 draft pick Trey Hawkins III, 2020 draft pick Darnay Holmes, injured 2021 third-round pick Aaron Robinson, if we even ever see the guy ever again, 2023 practice squad pickup Stanley Thomas Oliver, and versatile Jalen Mills. At this stage, the leaders in the clubhouse appear to be either Hawkins, McCloud, Flott, or Mills. So we'll have to wait and see. But, the one problem is that, that's the one thing is when you bring in a different defensive coordinator, right? They draft when Wink was there, they drafted Flott, right? More of a, maybe better in coverage and all that. And Wink wasn't maybe so much worried about his deficiency in the run defense. He's not. When you're 175 pounds soaking wet, there's not many guys who can be very dependable or whatever in the run game, especially the run support. 175 pounds is not much, and that was not Flott's strength, right? So as I said, might quite possibly maybe kick him outside and help the battle with the outside, with maybe Nick McCloud, right? Trey Hawkins III, Jalen Mills. We'll have to wait and see who winds up winning that. But, I'll tell you what, I don't know. Some of these people are like, Andrew Phillips, the steal of the century in the 3rd round. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all for it. Especially if it's talking about the Giants and they're talking about a steal in the draft. Okay, cool. But if you look, it's like, this just once again, it's just PFF is all I'm going by, right? You look at, Andrew Phillips this past season here. Okay, with Kentucky, right? His defense. Now let's see. They played some good teams. They played Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, right? Clemson, Louisville. So they played some good teams. They also played Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vanderbilt. So they some right. But overall, he graded out a 71.7. His run defense was a 61.4. His tackle last season in college was a 50.7. He graded out at. His coverage grade was a 72.9. So, we're not, once again, we're talking a 3rd round pick here, But I mean, talking about, I guess, steal and okay, cool. I mean, according to, they're talking about, Flott maybe missing some tackles and stuff like that. Well, I mean, Andrew Phillips, according to PFF, missed 15 tackles. His missed tackle rate was 23.1%. One out of almost every 4 tackles he missed. So every 4 chances he had to make a chance to make a tackle, he missed 1 of them. I mean, that's not good. I mean, it should be closer to like 10%, if not even less. So he's got some of that to work on. Definitely. But I mean, let's see. He was targeted 57 times last season. He gave up 38 receptions. His reception percentage was 66. So basically 2 out of every 3 passes targets came his way wound up being receptions. I don't know where I don't know exactly where the the steal is. Yards per reception was 11.4 yards per reception. He gave up 3 touchdowns. He had no interceptions. I mean, it's like, I don't even know if he had any interceptions in his college career. I mean, but I got a couple articles here that said, I don't know. PFF names Drew Phillips their best pick of round 3. Okay, man, I hope they're right. I'm just not seeing it. Trevor Sikkema, lead draft analyst for Pro Football Focus, recently named his favorite pick from each round in this year's class. He particularly liked what the Giants did on day 2 when they selected Kentucky cornerback Drew Phillips in the 3rd round, number 70th overall. Every NFL team added players in the 2024 NFL draft who they're happy with, Sikkema wrote. But some teams stood out in their ability to secure phenomenal value or quality players with their picks. Phillips, 5'11", here they have 190 pounds. Okay. Declared for the draft there after his just junior season. Okay. He was a 3-year letterman who played in 38 career games with 16 starts for the Wildcats and totaled 82 tackles, along with 10 pass breakups and 3 tackles for loss. Giants drafted Deonte Banks in the 1st round of last year's draft and now add more youth to that group early in the 3rd round this year. Sikkema wrote, his career best 23 defensive stops led all SEC cornerbacks in 2023, and his 72.9 PFF coverage grade was also the best mark of his career. Now, he still had another year of eligibility. Okay. So if obviously you kind of figure that, as you grow older, more mature, more experienced, hopefully you play, so if he went back and played one more season, heck, he might be a second round grade draft pick next season. Who knows? So, I mean, obviously, if he went back to school, in 2024 and played for Kentucky once again, maybe his learning curve goes up a little bit. So maybe his grades would have gone up a little bit better. But I hope they're right. Then I got this one more here. One more here. This is from AZ Sports. New York Giants snagged an absolute steal for the defense, according to scouts and NFL draft experts. Okay, cool. All right, baby. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. The NFL draft is behind us, but the dust is still settling. In the weeks that follow every NFL draft, there are always leaks with little pieces of information that emerge as teams and media process what just happened. One of the most interesting pieces of information that comes to light as it relates to the New York Giants had to do with their 3rd round pick, Andrew Phillips, a cornerback from Kentucky. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN shared that multiple scouts and NFL teams he spoke with actually had late 1st round grades on him. Are you kidding me? Okay. Why? He was reportedly incredibly impressive in interviews, easily grasping defensive concepts, which is huge, showing he fully understands the complexities of NFL defenses. So you got to give the man some props there, right? The idea that Andrew Phillips was, in fact, a potential 1st round talent may surprise some. That would be me, yeah. but he truly did dominate the NFL draft process. While at the Senior Bowl earlier this spring, Phillips was the first defensive back to jam and easily win a rep against Ladd McConkey, and that he did. There's a little film here. They're like lining up, and Phillips is bent down, right, and then just before the snap, Phillips takes like a half a step back and sets himself again, and then McConkey tries to run like an under route or whatever, and Phillips is all over him, like white on rice, baby. So. It's from AZ Sports. They said, and they posted the video. Andrew Phillips has top 30 visit with the 49ers. He showed out at the Senior Bowl his efforts, including this successful rep against Ladd McConkey. And it was, he dominated him in that one rep. Then after the Senior Bowl, Phillips was off to the NFL Combine just a few short weeks later. And while he posted merely adequate long speed numbers, his burst score was nearly off the charts. His 42-inch vertical jump at 11 foot 3-inch broad jump combined to give him a 99% percentile, 42-inch vertical, and over an 11-foot broad jump. That's freaking amazing. And I was put some 99th percentile. Okay. A 99 percentile burst score among all defensive backs at the NFL Combine since the year 2000. Right. That burst shows up in his play style everywhere, whether it's sprinting to close on underneath targets, pursuing in the run game, or bursting towards receivers to close the gap on deep targets. Phillips' athleticism is ever present in his game. All right, baby. Bring it on, man. And Fowler's notes from scouts weren't the only sign that the Giants snagged an absolute steal for their defense with Phillips. Pro Football Focus named him their favorite pick of the entire third round. I mean, holy crap. Let's see here. He had 542 snaps outside, 415 in the slot. So, darn, I mean, not directly 50-50, but whatever you want to say. 53%, of his snaps, or 54, whatever percent were outside. 46% of them, whatever, in the slot. So, close to 50-50. 23 defensive stops in 2023, which was first among SEC cornerbacks. 42-inch vertical jump, which was tied for fifth at the Combine. Physical, great run defender, which Flott is not. And we do know with Bowen, the one thing with Wink, that our run defense a lot of times was horrible, really horrible, right? He was more obviously with pressure and maybe man to man and all that stuff and everything. But Bowen's a little different. Bowen stopping the run is big with Bowen. Stopping the run was not big with Wink. Not. Wink was pressure burst pipes, right? We did see, quite often we got a decent amount of turnovers. Got tip your cap to Wink there, right? But with Bowen, we're a little bit of a difference here, right? Whatever you want to say, changing of the guards here. Bowen is more stopping the run. Okay, he did a very good job at that at Tennessee. So look for the Giants' run defense to be a lot more improved this season. And you need the players to do it. And Phillips, apparently, even with his missed tackle rate being at 23%, according to PFF last season, in college, I mean, apparently he's supposed to do a better job. He's not quite as big. He's like 2-3 inches maybe shorter, but he's like 15 pounds heavier. So he looks a lot more muscular. I mean, you're like, they said Flott's like 6'2", 175 pounds. That's a freaking beanpole. Let me tell you what. That's not much run support right there. That's a body waiting to get broken too. And they also say, Anthony Robardo said he's sticky main coverage corner. PFF named him their favorite pick of the third round. I mean, okay. Bring it on, man. I hope they're right. Oh, man. We got maybe Banks as our starting cornerback number 1. Be his second season. And then we might have our cornerback, our nickel slot, whatever, no, nickel back, slot, whatever you want to call him, right? With Andrew Phillips, right? And it'll be his first season. So, right. His versatility, play both outside and inside, right? His incredible run stopping ability, his physicality and sticky man coverage ability. Phillips is the total package. Okay. Phillips will immediately become the Giants' second best cornerback. Okay. Working in tandem with Deonte Banks from day one. Landing a plug-and-play talent like him in the third round was an incredible value. And will likely go down as the steal of the round 3 in the 2024 NFL Draft. Bring it on, baby. I love it, man. I freaking love it. Be looking for more from the Giants coverage here. Okay, man. And if you want to watch some Andrew Phillips highlights to see how he could impress early in the New York Giants, you can check out the video below. There's a video they have out here of him as well, too. So, but I mean, of course, a lot of times, if they're looking for, to show the highlights of them, they're going to show a lot of good stuff. But I mean, but I tell you what, man, I hope they're right, because that'd be absolutely freaking fantastic. I mean, if in the third round we've got ourselves a starting cornerback. Now, the slot cornerback, that was, I mean, we have some guys there, but is there anybody there that really knocks your socks off? No. We need a cornerback number 2. So we could have, we're looking at possibly, 2 cornerbacks that we need this season, right? Well, maybe in the third round, maybe we got one of them. Now we might be just down to 1 cornerback. Let's see what Nick McCloud or Trey Hawkins, the third, maybe do out there. If between the slot and the cornerback number 2, if we can find one of our guys this season, now we're down to 1, right? And maybe we can address that next season. So we're starting to chunk stuff down here, but tell you what, I mean, that's just surprising to me. I mean, I was like, when we picked them, I'm like, yeah, really? Yeah, okay, all right, okay. So we picked them in the third round, okay. But then you keep hearing all these stuff. I mean, PFF says the best pick in the third round. It's like, holy cow, yeah. Hope they're right. Hope they're right, baby. That would be absolutely freaking fantastic. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 2 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching any to replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.